All right. Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. I am so excited today. I know I say that every Friday, but I really mean it today. As you can see on the screen, I am here with my very dear friend and colleague, Abbie Huffman, who is the business development manager for Rent Manager, as well as the president of the associate council for the GCNKAA. And while Abbie is a very familiar face to most of us, I think this interview is going to shed some light into what she does in the industry, how very active she is with the GCNKAA, as well as the National Apartment Association. And we're going to get to learn a little bit about Abbie on a personal level. So super excited about that. We also invited Abbie to do this spotlight. Abbie was one of the very first features when we started the spotlight almost 2 years ago, but we weren't doing the live interviews at that time. And she came to me and said, listen, I'll be your ace in the hole if you ever need someone to step in. And I've almost had to call on her a time or two, but today she's saving the day. We had someone that needed to reschedule from this week to next week, and Abbie was able to step in and help. And it's very apropos because Abbie is my fellow co-chair for the Business Exchange event, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a few minutes. So Abbie, happy Friday.
Thank you, Melissa. Happy Friday. It's very
Good
good to be
morning.
with you. Good
Well, thank
morning.
you so much. I'm super excited to sit down, and I'd love, even though again, I know you're very familiar and active in the industry, I hope there are folks who don't know you watching, and I'd love to ask you just to take a minute, introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I'm Abbie Huffman, and I'm a business development manager at London Computer Systems, home of Rent Manager Property Management Software. And like you said, I'm the president of the GCNKA Associate Council, and I'm just really excited to be here with you.
Well, that's exciting. How long have you actually been in the industry?
Sure. So it's hard to believe, at least for me, it's been 13 years now. Sometimes I feel like probably because I participate so much with the next gen, I like to think that I'm still a newbie, but I think at this point it's safe to say I'm not.
And how did you get into the business originally?
So, like many, you kind of fall into it a little bit. I was in a different industry and I wanted a part time job to supplement my income. I was single and living on my own. So, I reached out to a friend of mine from high school. We reconnected and he was working maintenance at a property on Field Zertle, Mallard Crossing. And so, I
Mhm.
asked if they would be interested in taking me on as maybe like a part time leasing agent. And he said, well, send your resume over. And it turned out that the manager there, who, Melissa, you know, Kim Lysett,
Very well.
she and I instantly connected. And while we weren't in school at the same time, we both went to the same high school, Wyoming High School. And so we
Mhm.
instantly had a connection. And she said, you know, I know you don't have any experience in this, but come on in. And it's been my professional home ever since. So it's been just a great experience and a wonderful journey. And I'm so happy I made that call to him 13 years ago.
Yeah, it's really, I love talking to people who have been on both sides of the industry as well, both on site and now in on the associate side of things where you're a supplier partner for us. And I know this isn't like on the script or anything, but I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think is the biggest difference in working at the site level and then now being a service provider?
Well, I think there's definitely a lot of differences. For me, you know, the challenges that I had on site, I used to think, you know, there's got to be a better way to do this. You know, I've already told you how long I've been in the industry. So there was a time where we were always using walkie-talkies and we were writing things, you know, work orders via
Mhm.
hand and whatnot. So for me, being on the supplier side, now I have the opportunity to create solutions that make the lives of property managers easier. And that's definitely
Right.
something that we're committed to at Rent Manager. And so that's probably the biggest difference is that obviously we're all serving clients,
Right.
whether it's our investors or our residents. And in
That's
my
right.
case, you know, our partners are owner operators like yourself. So, yeah.
Right. Well, tell me a little bit about your role with Rent Manager and how long you've been with Rent Manager.
Sure. So I've been with the company for 5.5 years, and it's such an honor to work at London Computer Systems. We are committed to a very strong culture where we help each other, our employees, and certainly committed to the property management industry. So I focus mostly on Rent Manager. We have a lot of different technology products, but Rent Manager is our flagship product, and it's property management software. So at the core, it's accounting, work order management, CRM, but we're known for our customization and flexibility, and a lot of other things that we don't have time to cover today. But my role, no day's the same, just like property management. I work with our current clients. It used to be that I would meet with them face to face, but right now we're doing things in a virtual capacity. So I get to collaborate with our customers, and my role is really to understand their business goals and better understand how we can help them reach those goals through our products and our services. Additionally, we work on securing new business. So I'm often networking. It can be a very long sales cycle. You know, property management software isn't something that people wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to change my property management software, my accounting system. So it can be a long sales cycle. A lot of what I do is, you know, just nurturing that process, building relationships with people. And my hope is that through the trust that I've secured with a lot of my industry friends, when the time does come and they are looking to make a change, that they'll give us a call.
You know, it's really interesting. And as I've kind of grown up in the business and progressed in my responsibilities in the business, you know, I never really understood how all of the hard work and the blood, sweat, and tears and the time and everything that our front line does all boils down to a report. The end result and the measurement of our success is literally the results on that piece of paper. So, you know, I can attest to, I've seen all of the reports. I've, you know, I think touched every major software program out there. And it's just so important to have someone, and I know that you especially have taken great time for me and a lot of my counterparts in the industry to explain where solutions exist in this day and age where data is just king to everything. Nothing we do goes unmeasured and unsolved for, frankly. And so having like software and solutions and support is so absolutely invaluable. When I think about how I had zero idea when I was just out there leasing apartments or out there posting rent and doing all of the, you know, just the grit of what it is, how very important that piece of paper, frankly, or that dashboard telling you what the result is, how much that means to our owners, our investors. So I really appreciate what you do, and I appreciate the perspective that you bring. It's probably very helpful for your company to have someone with experience, having been on site and understanding how the whole process works in your role. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you if you would, and I don't want to put you on the spot at all. You're probably, I know you are a very humble person, but you're so involved, Abbie, in our association and at other associations and at the national level. You've won awards here regionally, and you've won awards on the national stage. I was super honored to be there when you won a national award a year ago at the National Apartment Association Conference. Would you take a minute and just maybe highlight some of your most memorable awards and the designations that you hold? I know you have a couple of national designations as well.
Thanks, Melissa. That was fun when we were in San Diego. It certainly was fun. Celebrating in person, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah, so I hold the CAS designation. So that's the NAAEI Certified Apartment Supplier designation. And I was honored to get the designation award for Certified Apartment Supplier of the Year. That was in 2018. And then this year, I am a finalist for 2 NAA Excellence Awards, the NSC Achievement Award and Sales Supplier of the Year. So it's quite an honor. I'm so thankful for the opportunities that the Apartment Association affords its members, and it's just been an honor to participate and be recognized.
Well, congratulations, and we are anxiously awaiting to hear if your finalist position yields another award for you. So congrats on that. And listen, again, I didn't know until I became more active at the national level how very prestigious awards like that are. And it's a national award. So I admire you very much for the commitment that you have to our industry and to both the GCNKAA and the NAA. So I know, again, I mentioned that you're the president of the Associate Council. Congrats, you're in your first term. Tell us the other committees and memberships that you serve on here in the GCNKAA.
Sure. Well, Associate Council has just been something that I'm so proud of. I love working with the other supplier partners in the industry and certainly serving the needs of associate members now more than ever. We are in this virtual world right now where we're not having in-person events. So I'm very thankful to be co-chairing the Business Exchange with you,
Yes.
which will be our first, I guess, paid for event for the GCNKA. And if it's okay with you, I'd love to just share some details about that event for our
Yes,
audience.
please.
And okay, awesome.
Definitely.
So we are hosting the Business Exchange. This is going to be August 20th from 8:30 a.m. to 11. And this is the first ever virtual business exchange for the GCNKA. And I hope, and I do believe that we're going to facilitate a great event, and hopefully it goes so well that we'll be able to offer another one. Just a couple details about the event. We have 44 owner operator participants that have already committed, and the cost for the associate members is only $65. The way that the event works is our primary members, our owner operators, they're going to each have their own Zoom room, and then our associate members will have a schedule of predetermined meetings based on their preferences, and each round is going to be around 4 minutes, I would say. And this is just an opportunity to connect with these owner operators and pitch your business, or if it's a current customer, hopefully you take the opportunity to share anything new or just reconnect in a virtual way. I find that this event is absolutely one of the most valuable events of our membership, and I think many other members do as well. For those members who aren't comfortable with Zoom, we are going to offer a tips and tricks tutorial prior to the event in an effort to help everyone just feel more comfortable using the platform. And if you haven't already signed up, I highly encourage you to do so because the event is booking up quickly. Just a couple other things. We are going to have door prizes. So our primary members have generously donated gift cards for our associate members. And then you'll also have the opportunity to bid in a silent auction. And the silent auction is going to feature either lunch or a Zoom meeting with members from Bath Properties, Hills Properties, Village Green Management, Town Properties, and BRG Apartments. So this is really going to be a great event. Don't forget to sign up. The deadline to do so is August 12th.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And I can just tell you this event gets better and better every year. And I think this virtual event is going to go off without a hitch. It's going to be fine. I think we're all sort of, fast experts now at doing business virtually. And I'm super excited. I have made so many connections over the last several years, having been involved with the Business Exchange, to supplier partners who have really just been incredible support to Village Green and our on-site teams. So it's super exciting event. And you said it best. I think anyone that talks about the Business Exchange event says it is the best value. And for this environment, it's just a few dollars actually to join, and you can do it from the comfort of your office or your home office. And dress up, don't dress up, drink your coffee, don't drink your coffee. You can be comfortable in doing it. So
Sure.
I'm looking forward to that. And like you said, hopefully we'll have another event to plan when this one goes so well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Just a couple of more professional questions, and then I'm super excited to ask you a few personal questions. But having been in the business now for 13 years and being both at the site level as well as the service, level, what is one of the most memorable industry stories that you think of?
So I'm sure like many, especially anyone who's been on site, we could all write a book. We we could write a movie. So there's too many to name. And when I think about it, unfortunately, some of the most memorable ones are those challenging situations that definitely help you grow as a professional. So I'm going to spare you those. But I will say that the team, when I first started in the industry, I mentioned I was at Mallard Crossing, Kim Lysett, she was the property manager there. Additionally, Katie Nenninger, I think you know her too.
And I sure do. She's one of my favorite human beings in life.
She's wonderful. And Janelle Stevens, who is with Town Properties. We just had such an awesome vibe, and we worked so well together. it's just something that I'll never forget because our owners were happy, you know, the investors were happy, we were rocking, our residents were having a good time, we were hosting great events, and it was just it was like we were working like a well-oiled machine. So
Mhm.
just something I'll never forget. Katie transitioned and moved off, and Penny Messerschmidt came on board, but we had just a really solid team. So those are memories that I'll hold on to for a lifetime for sure. We went through a lot together too, as
Yeah.
on-site members can attest to. I mean, they really become your work family for sure. And they were there for a lot of really monumental moments in my life for sure.
You know, we were sort of competitors in that market.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Orchard of Landon, and you know, Kim, I feel like she saved my job. You know, it was all the new product was being built down there, and antennas
Mm-hmm.
being built, and all of the new properties were up and coming in the North End area, and our occupancy was struggling. And I kind of went out and went to all the competitors, and Kim was the first manager who was like, "Girl, sit down, let's talk. I'm in the same boat. Here's my report. This is we're in the same boat." And really just befriended me. And, you know, I could see your team had the same thing that my team had. And then we just all kind of got together in that area and we're like, okay, we're competition, but we're also in this together. And so
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And Katie actually ended up coming to work for Village Green, and went to become a leasing consultant and a sales manager there. And social media makes the world such a small place. This industry makes the world such a small place. And
It does.
it's been so just gratifying to be able to stay connected to you and to Katie and to Kim and everyone through social media and the industry. So that's
Mm-hmm.
so, that's so great. And I didn't know you very well back then, but I'm so glad that you have progressed and stayed in the industry. I know that you're so passionate about what you do and about this industry. Abbie, what advice would you offer up to people who are the next generation of the apartment industry?
I would definitely advise, like, take risks now while you can. It's so much harder when you get further in your career. Maybe for me, maybe not for everyone, but as a young person, I would recommend, you know, if you want that promotion, ask for it. If you see yourself, you know, in a new role or in a different role, or maybe, you know, someone like yourself, Melissa, you aspire to be in a role like yourself, like, take the time to talk to you, to get to know you. There are so many people in this industry who are willing to mentor you, and who are willing to help if you're willing to do the work. So my recommendation would be just dive in, get the education. You know, this is an industry for anyone. You can make a life and a career out of this. So
Mhm.
you know, just dive in. I'm glad I did.
You know, I love that advice. And I think that one thing you've taught me, Abbie, is the value of networking.
Mm-hmm.
One, literally no one that I've ever known does it better than you. The fact that you put so much of your time and energy, and not just to check a box that you showed up to an event, but you genuinely get to know people and you genuinely care about people. And you mentioned that your sales cycle is very long, but I see you um, networking with the same people who may have zero ability to ever use the product you're selling right now. And whether it's mentoring, whether it's networking, whether it's genuine or otherwise, like no one does it better than you. I want to nominate you to like teach a class on the value of networking, because I've learned so much from watching you in the last few years. And you've actually introduced me to people who have become very close friends. And I'm like, what have I been missing out on all this time? So I think that's, even though you didn't offer that up necessarily as advice, I have taken a page from your playbook on that regard. And I aspire to get as good as you are at the networking and the just genuine involvement that you have. So
That's so nice of you to say. Thank
I
you.
I'm just speaking the truth, girl. All right, I would love to round out our interview, just getting to know you a little bit better on a personal
Sure.
level. Tell us about your family.
So I am beyond blessed with an amazing family. My husband is my best friend. We've been married for almost 10 years, been together for over 12, and he keeps life exciting for sure. But additionally, we have a 4-year-old son. He just turned 4 earlier this month. His name's Leo Trey Daniel, and he's the light of my life. I'm just beyond thankful for both of them. They make me a better person. And I will say, a little bit about my family. I'm sure many people would echo this, but the stay-at-home order and being home with, at the time, Leo was 3, so full toddler mode, definitely an experience for sure. And I'm so thankful that I was able to experience it with my husband, and for how hard he works professionally, but certainly just to take care of our family. It was a growing experience, but one that I'll just never forget because of the time we got to spend together. And even though it came with its challenges, it was certainly a big blessing. Additionally, I have a very big family. So my parents divorced and remarried others, and they've been in those marriages, I think, for over 30 years each. And I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and they are all awesome. We have great relationships. Growing up, we were all really close. Some have kind of moved away, not too far, thank goodness, but I'm just really proud of all my siblings. I'm the oldest of everyone. So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. So how old is the youngest sibling?
So my youngest sister, Stephanie, she is 10 years younger than me. So
okay.
There's a decade there. She likes to give me a hard time. I remember when she was born thinking there will come a time where I'll be 40 and she'll still be in her 20s, at least for a month. And that's quickly approaching. And so it's somewhat terrifying, I guess you could say.
No wonder you're such a natural born leader. I did not know you were the oldest sibling. That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Cool. I love your family. And one of the things that I love, because of course we're friends on social media, I love the hashtag that you use when you post pictures of your family and your son, Adventure Video. That's so cute. Well, good. You do have just such an amazing family. And I know that you are as passionate about them more so than you are about the industry, if that's any indication of how much of a family person you are.
Absolutely.
We're not really doing more posts and whatnot with like pictures, kind of like we did at the beginning, but we shared some really cute pictures. I'm going to have to find the link to your original written post. See your family.
Sure.
I know you are a voracious reader. What is one of the best books that you've read in recent time?
So you and I talked about this. So I just completed Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and I think that it's a really, really good book. I'm so glad I picked it up. But through, I would say, this pandemic, it's been so much easier to make the time to read books. I don't know how, because I think when I was traveling before, I had time to read on planes and whatnot, but maybe I've just made it a bigger priority. So there's been a couple. I read Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, and I thought that was really good too. I just finished Raise Your Game by Alan Stein, and a lot of basketball references there. So it was kind of fun. I would make my husband listen to a little bit on audiobook because it was talking about all these players that I didn't know anything about them.
Right.
But my boss had read it, and she said it was really good. So I wanted to check it out.
Do you prefer business books and those kinds of like professional books, or do you have any guilty pleasures reading other genres?
Yeah, I think I like it all. Another book that I've got to say I read is What It Takes. It's by Stephen Schwartzman, the CEO of Blackstone, and I read that in January. So yeah, that's kind of a business book. It's definitely his life story, but he has 25 kind of rules to live by at the end of the book, and just really good stuff. If you haven't read it, I would, if nothing else, read the end of those 25 rules to live by, or that he lives by. I was really inspired by those. I would say mostly business type books, or professional development.
Right. Yeah. That's the phrase I was looking for, professional development.
Sure.
Based on what we've talked about so far, it doesn't sound like you have a lot of spare time and extra time, but in your downtime, what do you like to do for a hobby or pastime?
I love the outdoors. Anything I can do to get outside, whether it's hiking or walking, or it used to be running, more of a jog or a hybrid walk jog now, but that's just something I really enjoy, either by myself or definitely with my little guy and my husband. We like to get outside as much as we can. We put in a basketball court last year, and it could not have been more timely with everything that's happened, because we were home. So we really enjoy getting out there and playing tennis and playing basketball, just being outside as much as we can.
I love that. And I've seen the basketball court. That's amazing.
It's fun.
Good investment, especially in light of the fact that you've not had a lot of, time or opportunity to be in the world the last
Sure.
months. Well, speaking of being in the world, what's one of your most memorable vacations, or do you have any exciting vacations coming up?
Gosh, I wish I could tell you I had a lot of exciting vacations coming up, but not right now. That's actually one of the things my husband and I like. Our hobbies don't necessarily align, but we definitely enjoyed a vacation together. So we've gone to a lot of different places, and that's definitely something that we're really passionate about. Just giving yourself a break and making that time just to be with your family and to relax. But I will say one of my favorite vacations. It was actually when I was studying abroad in college. I lived in Luxembourg, and it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life. And while it wasn't a vacation, I had the opportunity, every weekend, and then we did get breaks as well. It's so easy to travel in Europe. I had a Euro pass, and I could really go anywhere. So I would say, just traveling through Europe in college was an experience of a lifetime indeed. And as soon as I can, I want to take my family there as well, so they can see where I
That's
went to school.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Another fun fact, I did not know that you studied abroad. Well, we'll have to have that conversation over a glass of wine. I love that.
Sure.
Well, what about music, Abby? Any fun concerts that you've been to that stand out?
So it was a 1 month after I had had my son, and my husband was like, "Do you want to go see Drake?" And
Ooh.
I had heard his music, but I'm not like necessarily an avid fan or whatnot. And I didn't think that was probably the best idea because I had just had a baby a month before, but he was like, no, I really think we'll have a good time. And so we went to the concert. He put on quite the show, and
Mhm.
we ended up, LeBron James was there, and we met him
Wow.
that night. Eh,
What?
So yeah, so it was like,
Wow.
I was so glad that I didn't say no to that, even though my body probably was not ready to be at a Drake concert.
Right?
But I'm really glad. It was just a great experience. We were
That
there
is
with,
incredible. Where did you see
yeah.
Drake?
It was in Columbus too, so I was
Okay.
also like over an hour
Right.
away, with a babysitter and a newborn. But it was just
Wow.
such a fun experience. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law were there, and quite an experience for sure. I
That
think
is
one
so
you'll never forget.
fun.
Yeah.
Cool. So are you like now a lifelong Drake fan?
Oh, I have to be at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, fun. Well, Abby, this has been so fantastic. I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you get to your weekend.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how, but um, explain some random fun fact that most people wouldn't know about you had we not had the opportunity to sit down like this.
Well, so I've already shared, about my big family and whatnot, but I think not everyone knows that I played rugby in college, and also one of the best things I've ever done for myself. And after I graduated and started working, certainly in property management, I couldn't play anymore because I was leasing apartments on the weekends, and that's when games were. So when I moved to the supplier side, I could play rugby again. So I picked it back up. Like 7 years ago, and was able to play for a couple years. And I played for the Dayton Women's Rugby Club. It was just an awesome experience.
Are you like secretly an aggressive person and don't know that
Well,
about you? Because when I think of rugby, I think of aggression, and you just seem so like at peace and kind and soft.
well, maybe I was able to take my aggression out there in that way,
There you
but
go.
no, I think it just I wouldn't say I'm an aggressive person. I am a very competitive person.
Hmm.
But one of the things about that sport is that while you're competing on the field, you'll never see I've never seen this with any other sport. As soon as you get off the field, like rugby players, we're all family. And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're on the opposing team or you just got your butts kicked.
Yeah.
You're hanging out, you're, chugging beers together, and we're all kind of in this together. And so that's just something that is one of the greatest things I've ever done, is play that sport.
Well, that is definitely a fun fact and not something that you would even think. If I had like a multiple choice question, which of these are true about Abbie Huffman? That is not one of the things that I would think is true. So that is fine. Well, Abbie, again, this has been fantastic. Is there anything else that you would like to say, or any parting words or thoughts for us?
Well, I definitely want to thank you, Melissa, for all that you do for this industry. We at the GCNK are so fortunate that you're on the board of directors and that you commit so much to the industry itself. Certainly, I know you do that for your team members, and you give a lot of time and energy. And I'm just honored to know you and to get to be friends with you.
Aw.
So this has been really, really nice to spend my Friday morning chatting with one of my favorite industry friends.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm so glad that it worked out that we're just talking now. And it was
Mm-hmm.
great to hear more about the business exchange. So just don't
Mm-hmm.
forget, everyone, if you haven't signed up yet, please do so. And I know I speak for Abbie when I say if we can ever be of support to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us individually or anyone at the association. Everyone is so very willing to support and help and mentor and direct you to who might be the best resource for whatever your need is. So all right. Well, I hope everyone has a really great weekend. Here's to hoping August is a fabulous month and we can put the past behind us of 2020. But hope everyone has a really great weekend, and we'll see you next week for another edition of the Weekly Member Spotlight. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.